Mic check 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Blunt Talk with LT episode 21. This episode is brought to you by Gwop.com. Gwop.com/shop. Happy New Year to y'all. First episode of the new year. We gonna get into it. So pretty much the Floyd Mayweather fight happened. The Floyd Mayweather versus Tenshin, whatever the fuck that nigga's last name is. 32-0 versus 50-0. Kickboxer versus boxer. 3-round exhibition fight. Some, such as Brendan Schaub, speculate that this fight was fake. And he says Tenshin needs to do a better job acting. And he said it was a fake fight. So we're going to review this fight and let's see how it goes.
What I say, you must obey. Touch up. Good luck.
Here we go. Exhibition boxing bout.
Floyd doesn't even look like he trained.
Money Mayweather, Tenshin Nasukawa. 3 minutes, 3 rounds. By all accounts, Tenshin Nasukawa is going to do whatever he can to literally knock out Floyd Mayweather. Mayweather said, "I do this in my sleep. 3 rounds is nothing for me." Floyd totally
not even a punch.
Now, just throwing, not even jabs, just tossing that left arm out. Mayweather smiling. Nasukawa serious. Southpaw stance. Looking for that distance.
Didn't even show the reach advantage, but Floyd has a substantial reach advantage.
A young man taking on a veteran. Like I said earlier on, the greatest boxer of his generation. 50-0. And he's the one hunting his opponent right now. Oh, Nasukawa throwing that left. Mayweather likes it. He's smiling. Hands are up. Mayweather with a body shot there.
That body shot hurt him.
Remember, this is a man who can look at this. Floyd Mayweather dropping his opponent. Oh my goodness.
Look at those body shots got to him. Floyd's a whole 10 pounds heavier than him. And Floyd's a boxer. This guy's a kickboxer. I don't know if he's used to that strength and that level of punching.
Mayweather's going in there. Was Nasukawa playing possum Frank Trigg? No. Oh, Mayweather just unloading here. Referee asking him to keep the punches up. Nasukawa trying to use his angles. Body shot by Nasukawa now. Mayweather just comes in and throws his own body shot. A beautiful right hand dropping his opponent. My goodness, the speed of Money Mayweather. Still, at 41 years old, he is in the opposite corner dancing away, Frank.
Wow, he's barely throwing anything behind these punches, and they're landing flush.
Nasukawa's doing everything he possibly can, and Mayweather drops him again! The speed of Money Mayweather.
I guess that's probably why he thought he was faking.
Corner has thrown in the towel. This fight hasn't even gone.
He had no legs, so his legs were gone from underneath him.
Nasukawa's corner has thrown in the towel and said,
like that. All right. All right, so we've seen Floyd destroy him with relative ease. You got to keep in mind, this is the best boxer of all time versus pretty decent, kickboxer, 32-0. He's a full 10 pounds lighter. He's 137 pounds. Floyd's 147. It was an exhibition, 3-round exhibition. There's no incentive and there's no reason to just fake the knockout loss in the fashion that he did. It didn't really make sense. If this was supposed to be fake and it was supposed to be set up, I think it would be fixed for Tenshin because that's his country. They're trying to build his fighter in his event. I don't think they would build it up for him to be fixed against, for one. So that's one thing. And if it was fixed against him for Floyd Mayweather to win, I don't think they would allow, like, one round. When Floyd beat Conor McGregor, he stretched that bitch out, so he finished him in the 10th, made him tire out, took him out. If Floyd was just putting on a show, got paid $9 million, I'm pretty sure he would have just stretched it out. Especially if it's fixed, they would have stretched it out for a 3-round fight. They would have lasted all 3 rounds. This doesn't smell of a fix. There's no reason for, like, why would they like, it just doesn't make sense for them to fix it for Floyd Mayweather and to ruin the name and the legacy of Tenshin, because that doesn't look good for him. That does nothing for him. To lose to Floyd Mayweather is not a big deal, but to lose in that way, in that manner, to Floyd Mayweather, getting knocked down 3 times, not essentially knocked out. This is the second L for Brendan Schaub. He said some wild shit about John Jones and the whole testing and the UFC, and claiming that they were just doing bullshit basically just to make the fight happen, and the facts came out and the science came out and it didn't go in his favor. It made him look stupid for even saying such things like that. So he's been talking a little reckless about a couple of things when it's coming to these, like, big fights. Or I don't know what, like, he's on the road too much doing comedy. I don't know, he's not paying enough attention. I don't know, he's probably tired. He's been off his game recently. He's not paying close enough attention to these things, and he's jumping the gun and making these crazy claims. And I feel like you need a little more evidence before you start making claims. You don't want to be Dom is live, just reporting off a feeling. You don't want to be doing that. That fight does nothing for Floyd Mayweather's legacy. It made him a $9 million. And when you're a fighter like that, it's hard to stop fighting. You don't want the game to retire you. He took a clean shot when he the second time he dropped Tenshin hit him with a little counter, but Floyd Mayweather just walked right through that. You don't want to take too much substantial head trauma, even if it's in a minor fight like this. You don't want to be training and sparring deep into your 40s. You don't want to be doing that damage to yourself. I know he made a quick $9 million. He has a lot of money. He should be making his money work for him at this point and make him more money. It's trash to tell people how to live and how to do, live their life, but really and truly, as a Floyd Mayweather fan, I don't want to see Floyd Mayweather being completely drained and completely, I don't want to see him CTE'd out and fucked up from all the head trauma and the continuous fighting. I don't want to see him boxing till he's 50 like B-Hop. Although those guys can do it at that age and they keep themselves in great condition for that type of longevity in the sport, I don't think it is wise at all. Not in boxing. Boxing, cut it short. UFC, cut it short. Football, cut it short. All these quarterbacks playing into their 40s, great for them, but they're quarterbacks. There's certain rules that protect the quarterback. Other than that, if you're playing those type of contact collision sports, fighting, anything like that, you should limit your years in the sport. You don't want to be a vegetable way earlier than you need to be a vegetable. You know what I mean? You don't want to be fucking 40, 50 years old, all fucked up way earlier than your time. You know what I mean? So, off with that. Come on, phone. You know when you're putting your phone straight and it's still stuck on that side view? Like, come on, like, flip over so I can read my topics. God damn iPhones. All right, so it is the new year. We're going to see a lot more episodes coming out. We ain't playing no fucking games. We ain't doing it like the way it was when we started it. When I started it, I was very inconsistent for the first month was good. The second month was decent. The third month, trash. Fourth month, trash. Went to shit. And then I brought it back throughout the latter part of the year, the second part of the year. Got a little bit of consistency going. But this year, we ain't playing no games. Taking the podcast more serious. So we going to have a lot more episodes, a lot more uploads. I keep saying that, but got to keep repeating that, keep putting that good energy out. So I spoke about Brendan Schaub, his commentary on the John Jones and Floyd Mayweather fights. I didn't really delve into the John Jones fight. John Jones took care of business against Gustafsson. He was already better than Gustafsson. He beat him before. He didn't look great in the first time he fought him, but the second time he kind of already knew, had a feel for the way Gustafsson fought, so it was a little different. Took care of business as expected. Dana White pretty much spoke over the fight, like he was looking for the future of John Jones before the fight even happened, pretty much acknowledging that he would walk through him, and everyone pretty much knew that it could be a good fight, but John Jones will ultimately win. So no surprise there. This episode's going to be pretty much a sports episode for the most part. I don't really have any hip-hop gossip and bullshit to talk about. I'm going to be talking about basketball shortly, a little bit of football, and this fighting shit. So actually, I'm done with this fighting shit. We off that. John Jones handled business. Nothing more to talk about in the UFC. Boxing. We have Anthony Joshua trying to fight somebody, some random. He's not going to fight Wilder anytime soon. Wilder opted to fight Fury, so we're going to see Wilder and Fury fight again soon. And then we're going to see the Joshua-Wilder fight. If Wilder handles business against Fury, I don't see him losing. A lot of people do, but I think Wilder will step his shit up and knock him out, handle his business. So we'll see that eventually. No one's rushing for that. Boxing's in good hands at the heavyweight division. I don't know what's going on with the welterweights, but who fucking cares right now? Before I, get off the fighting, Amanda Nunes and Chris Cyborg, that fight went way different than I saw it going. I knew Amanda Nunes had heavy hands, and she connects late in her punches, like she extends fully and gets the full out of her reach in her punches, but I did not expect her to connect so much that early with Chris Cyborg. I thought Chris Cyborg would, find her range a bit better. I actually had Chris Cyborg winning that fight. Like, I thought going into that fight she would win. I respected Nunes, but Nunes had 4 losses under her belt. I felt like Chris Cyborg wasn't losing to anybody. I looked at Chris Cyborg like she can take out dudes in the UFC, you know what I mean? So it's like, I looked at her a little differently. But yeah, Amanda Nunes handled business. That was for basically the best of all time. Whoever won that fight is the best women's fighter of all time. I know it's just featherweight. It's not. Fuck the division when it comes to women's fighting. That was the best 2 women's fighters of all time. All right, so actually, I do have hip-hop. Let me squeeze in my little hip-hop gossip. And this is not even hip-hop. This is love and hip-hop bullshit. I'm going to squeeze this shit in between my fucking basketball and football talk. So, this Omarion and Fizz situation. So, basically, Omarion's baby mother, April, has been going back and forth with Fizz's baby mom's, Moniece. And for me, I feel like it's a storyline. Because basically, they're arguing about Fizz being in April's life, April being Omarion's baby's mother, with the kids and being all sorts of places outside the state, all sorts of fuck shit. And Omarion and the B2K, their whole shit, they basically got together for some reunion tour. And how does it look with Fizz seeming like he's fucking his baby moms while they're on the same tour now? So they basically got back together for this nigga to be doing this fuck shit, this disloyal shit. But who knows if this shit is just another love and hip hop storyline, because this is where it takes a turn. And I just look at them. I look at people like the things that people are willing to do and the looks that they're willing to take just to get a bag. Because at the end of the day, this could very well be some love and hip hop bullshit. Fizz may not be fucking Omarion's baby mother. Fizz and Omarion might just be cool, be on tour, everything jig, everything proper, and I'm just running a storyline, catching headlines, getting everybody intrigued, have everybody talking about what disloyalty and loyalty is between friends and I guess their coworkers, shit like that, those type of discussions. And I don't want to be caught in that shit, because if this is a storyline, then this is just super trash. You go out of your ways to build this type of drama. You do the Instagram story beefs with the baby mothers. You have this nigga out with his, the kids and stuff, and then the kids kind of confused of what's going on just for a Love and Hip Hop storyline. And if it's not a Love and Hip Hop storyline, then you're actually smashing your mans, baby moms. Either way, it's not a good look. I don't understand. Why y'all doing this? What is going on? Fizz in Love and Hip Hop is kind of like Safari in Love and Hip Hop. Them niggas don't give a fuck. You can't claim territory around them niggas. Them niggas is like, yo, it is what it is, B. Every man just smashing within the same circle, and they don't give a fuck. Nasty ass niggas. Niggas filthy, yo. Niggas do not give a shit. Whatever. I don't really care. I don't know. I'm covering this. All right, let's go to sports. James fucking Harden. I'm going to talk about James Harden for a little bit because my podcast has led me to look like a Kevin Durant hater. Not a Kevin Durant hater. A little salty sometimes about, LeBron not winning these rings. But, that's about it. James Harden, when the fuck, what the fuck is going on in the NBA? Like, when the fuck is this, going to be a problem to the point where we got to start reevaluating how little defense and little leeway they allow for defense in the NBA? Because when you're a man shooting 27 fucking free throws in a game, James Harden had a 40-point triple-double with only 8 made field goals. Only 8 made field goals, and you had 41 points. He lived at the free throw line. Everything was a fucking foul. Everything. He would drive, he would miss, whistle blow. Did you see the contact? Maybe a little bit, but everything's a foul? Is everything a fucking foul? 27 shots at the line. He hit 21 of them, but 27 shots at the fucking line for one person. That shit's outrageous. That shit's crazy. I know that's not the most ever in history, but when you just see that on a regular Wednesday, it's like, fuck, bruh. The referees are a little, I remember they rewinded a play and they seen the man jump and the player jumped into the player like he was going to hit him, but he never actually made contact. The referee blew the whistle because they would just automatically assume that there is contact, and there will be, there's too many calls made for jump shooters and barely any contact, just flops, and just what happened to finding people $5,000 for flops? What happened to that shit? That shit don't look like it's popping anymore because niggas is flopping all over the place and no one's getting fined. And it's what is a flop? Does it have to be a flagrant flop? Does it have to be a Marcus Smart type of flop for it to be a flop? Or can it just be a regular James Harden flop for it to be quantified as a flop? So it's kind of what the fuck? James Harden's taking this shit to an extreme. But James Harden has been left off of a lot of people's top 5 NBA players. And I think I left him off of mine. And I'm thinking about it. I think reasons like this is why. He'll put up outrageous stats and he'll have winning records and shit. He has an MVP under his belt. And it's why is he in nobody's top 5? And it's reasons like this. Because he's finessing the game. He's not putting up raw stats. There's times where, Giannis will get away with a travel. Or LeBron will get away with an offensive foul. He'll, lean into a man, brush him, and dunk. You know what I'm saying? He'll get away with shit like that, but nobody gets away with the type of fuck shit that James Harden gets away with. And that's probably why the average consumer or the TV talk show host or the media basically doesn't respect him as a top 5 player. And it's he should be. He's been in the MVP race every year. He's been putting up the best stats in the top 3 of the best stats for the past 5 years. Maybe he should be considered in the top 5, but it's the fuck shit like this. And it stops people like even me from putting him in the top 5. Because in the playoff, it's not just his playoff lapses, because he made it to the Game 7 of the Western Conference Finals against Golden State at home They lost, but he made it there. And if they won that, he made it to the finals leading a team. So I can't just say it's his playoff failures because he's gotten through it last year pretty much. And no one was expecting him to actually beat Golden State. But when you were up 3-2, it was looking good for them. It was really looking good for them last year before they flubbed. But yeah, shit like that keeps him from the top 5. Not his playoff failures, his finessing of the system. Well, I guess his playoff failures too, because his production dropped substantially in the playoffs. But the reason why his production dropped substantially in the playoffs is because the refs are swallowing their whistle. Pause. They're not blowing the whistle every fucking time in the playoffs. That's why he doesn't get away with it, and that's why his production drops. Certain players that get away with a lot of those phantom calls, DeMar DeRozan is one of them too. His production drops in the playoffs because a lot of his pump fakes and his bullshit that catches people in fouls does not hold weight in the playoffs, and the refs aren't calling that shit. So you see the players that can actually get it in at all times, pause, like the KDs that can score anytime they fucking want, and it doesn't matter who they're playing, he's rising up and shooting over you. Physicality or not, KD can score anytime. The LeBrons who can score on anybody, can get any, he can get his 3-point shooters involved. He can create space. He can do that against any fucking team. It doesn't matter what level of competition. Giannis hasn't had that success yet, but a lot of people put him in the top 5. AD hasn't had that type of success yet, but he's been knocked out against the Golden State Warriors, and that's what saves him. Because we seen what you did to Portland. You got knocked out by Golden State, but no one was expecting you to beat Golden State, and you won one game, so you got one. I don't know. We'll see. All right, let me get off of this James Harden talk. I got more topics before I get out of here. Migos and I do have more hip hop. Why do I think I have no hip hop topics? Okay, Migos and Bone Thugs and Harmony. What I see in this thing is a lot of old heads don't want to get forgotten. I think that's what it is. I don't think the man pulling out his musket before the cops knocked at his door was anything serious. I don't think Bone really wants it with Migos like that. Like, I don't think they care. They're grown-ass men. They have, responsibilities. They're mature. I don't think they really want it in the street like that. I feel like they're just reminding them that we're out here. And I feel like they know that hip-hop's a young person's game, and they have to do little things like that to gain the attention. So I guess that's probably what he was doing on live and just trying to remind people that, Bone Thugs got their shit. They're probably still touring. At the end of the day, as an entertainer, doesn't matter what you're doing, you're trying to get some sort of attention. And that's what it comes down to. You're trying to get some sort of attention. So you're going to do something in the media, spark some sort of interest. Academics will call it clout chasing, but not everything's a clout move. Not everything's clout chasing. Sometimes it's just like, you're trying to put yourself out there. You're trying to send your message. Trying to be like, yo, don't forget about us, nigga. We legendary too. We put in work. We out here. So I think it's some shit like that. I don't think anybody's forgotten Bone Thugs and Harmony, but at the same time, you gotta let these young niggas know, because there's a lot of youngins, probably a bunch of 15-year-olds, 14-year-olds that have no idea who the fuck Bone Thugs is. So it's good for them to remind people. Although in this generation they ain't really fucking with Migos, I ain't really seen them putting out anything new to compete in this generation, but they have legendary shit. Migos eventually could reach legendary status, but you need time. The only thing that gets you legendary status is time. You can't just come in and swing a couple of home runs and become a legend. You got to get some time behind it, so to build the legend. There's a lot of legendary rap groups that are forgotten. You can't just say Migos top rap group, Bone Thugs. Like, you could say those guys are great rap groups, but there's so much great rap groups, so there's not one. I don't think any rap group can stand on top of everything. I don't think G-Unit can stand on everybody. I don't think Dipset. I don't think D-Block. I don't think any group is like, they're all up there. They're all legendary groups. NWA, Wu-Tang. But to say one group is the best, there's when it comes to rap groups, there's coasts, There's East Coast sound, there's West Coast sound, there's South, North. So it's like eras too. There's a 90s sound, a 2000 sound. To say one group is the best, the only way one group could like be stand debate is if one group went from the 90s, the 2000s to 2010s, and they stayed relevant throughout that whole time, throughout the golden eras of, you know, of rap, and they were putting out hits constantly. And they basically say if a group basically Jay-Z'd their way through eras, maybe that could be the stamp of the best rap group ever. But other than that, until you've done that and you've shown that longevity and that greatness consistently, I don't think any group's done that. I feel like every group has had their moment. Some groups sustain their moment a little longer than others, but no group has transcended eras and went from era to era and kind of Jay-Z'd it. So I don't like, there's no king group of rap. I know they want to talk about the king of R&B. The king of R&B is, it's one of those subjective arguments, but it could be objective in a way where you can clearly scape out who was the best within a certain landscape in a certain era of music. Like, you can clearly see right now, it's not debatable. For this generation, the king of R&B is Chris Brown. Prior to Chris Brown, it was Usher. Prior to Usher, it was R. Kelly. Prior to R. Kelly, you guys can debate. I don't really care. That's before my time. But that's the lineage of the king of R&B from my perspective. And I feel like that's objectively the most correct view of the king of R&B. And I'm not just trying to say my opinion reigns supreme and is better than everybody else's, but I'm just saying my opinion is just based off of sales, impact, you know, all of that shit, all the fancy bullshit words you want to throw in there to make your your claim cute. That's what I'm talking about. It's not like Charlemagne who would want to say, oh, Miguel's made 2 good songs that I really love, so Miguel's the king of R&B. That when you have claims like that, when you have stances like that, it's just like, come on, bro. Like, I don't have to make it. The reason why I could kind of be brief with my comments on Chris Brown, R. Kelly, Usher, and those are the kings, and I could be brief on that, and I don't have to delve into it because their reputation, their name, their stats, they speak for themselves. No one has to ask, oh, how many albums did R. Kelly put out though? How many albums did Usher? Like, you know the impact. You've seen all these albums. You've seen the impact. You've seen the sales. You know that these artists are the artists, and you can't really just be like, oh, I love Bryson Tiller, so he's like, no, we don't give a fuck, nigga. We see the impact. We see the sales. We know who's a bigger celebrity. We see all the hit records. You know what plays in the club year after year. Like, we know what it is. We know who's getting married to which songs. Like, come on. At the end of the day, those are the 3 kings throughout the 3 eras of the 90s, 2000s, 2010s. R. Kelly, 90s, Usher, 2000s, Breezy, 2010s. Although Usher was in the 90s as well, and Chris Brown was in the 2000s. You know how it is. You know what I'm talking about. All right. Let me wrap this shit up. I was going to talk about the NFL playoffs, but maybe next episode. All right. Catch episode 22 around the corner. Blunt Talk with LT. StackGwop.com. This episode has no sponsors other than StackGwop.com. Sponsorship. I'd be patient with the things. Let everything work out itself with the sponsors. There's still a little sponsors stuck on previous episodes on the Apple Podcast and Anchor that I'm not being paid for, and I have to figure that shit out. So, I'm going to get back to the sponsors. But right now, StackGwop.com, we're going to see Plush Hair Selections sponsor this shit soon. We're going to get that shit launched. That's T2 Lovely shit. Shit's going to be popping soon. StackGwop.com, see all the episodes, catch up on the shit. Check out the music videos from the past. We got some shit, a lot of shit I used to do in the past, music video-wise. A lot of shit that's still up on LTTV. Just check it out, StackGwop.com.